Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you about a band, one that I'm not in, so I'm in quite a lot, as you know. But yeah, I'm going to talk to you about a band that I like very much, and I think actually one of the most underrated bands in UK hardcore over the last few years. Now, they've been a little bit inactive, as most bands have over the last sort of 18 months, and had actually been slightly inactive for maybe a year or so prior to the pandemic. But as far as I'm aware, they haven't actually split. It's just difficult because some of them are moved in different areas. But I live in hope that they will get back together and make more records and do more gigs when we get back to some sort of level of normality. And who is that band? That band is Guilt Police, okay, previously known as Girl Power. I'll explain about that in a moment. Now, I first heard about Girl Power when I heard this 7-inch, okay, this self-titled 7-inch. This came out in, I think, 2015 on Richter Scale Records. And it really impressed me. I took copies into the distro. I think I had them in a couple of times, actually. There's some great titles on there. We Are White Goods. Good title, isn't it? Buying Cigarettes for Kids, Monday Sport, The Daytime Ritual, and Village Notice Board are the 5 tracks on there. Oh, I've got 16 out of 250. I didn't realise that. That's a bit of a nerdish thing to look at, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, so this is great. I thought the lyrics were interesting and intelligent, and not just doing the same old stuff that everybody else does. They're about actual tangible things, but done in an interesting and thoughtful kind of way. The hardcore isn't by numbers. Tunes are memorable. There's bits of, I don't know, sort of bits of industrial stuff, bits of, I think things like, and I'm not big on my noise rock, so excuse me if these comparisons aren't that spot on. But I was hearing things a bit like sort of Jesus Lizard, even a smidgen of like Piss Jeans, and all those kind of dope Guns and Fucking in the Street bands, that sort of stuff, but also with a lot of UK hardcore influence in there as well. And I just thought it was a really great record. Okay, so that was kind of, I think they did a demo before this, which I confess I've only just realised that I've never actually heard, but yeah, anyway, so there you go. I'm obviously not as, again, got my finger on the pulse as I thought I had. There you go. So where I come into the picture beyond stocking that 7-inch, which I would recommend you track down if you can find a copy, is I put out their next record, or I co-released it, to be fair, along with a few other labels, including Richter Scale, who did the 7-inch. And we put out this Girl Power, Welcome to the Gun Show. Okay, a 7 track, yeah, 7 song 12-inch, which was great, and it just built on what the 7-inch had done. So yeah, I mean, I was so pleased to help them put this out, to be honest. I was slightly less pleased. They told me, well, I don't know, I can't remember exactly, but maybe a couple of months after it was released, that they'd actually changed their name, and like, we'd have to do some new covers for it. They'd now changed their name to Guilt Police. No, that was fine. It's just one of those things. But it was around that time that they changed drummers, because the drummer on the 7-inch and on the recording of the 12-inch was Steve Frame. Nice fella. I'm not quite sure what he's up to these days. I think he was in Draw and a couple of other bands also. But yeah, so he left around that time, and they got Bethan in, Bethan Cheney, and she's great, actually. She's crazy octopus on the drums. She's so good to watch, brilliant. And I'll tell you how comes I've seen them so much in a bit. But yeah, so he says losing his thread slightly, thinking about those great gigs. But yeah, so they changed their name to that when Bethan came in, and there's like a little note actually in here somewhere. If I was any good at doing these kind of videos, I would have actually taken out sooner. Let's see it. There is one in there somewhere that basically it's just not in that copy, but there is a thing in the record that explains why they changed the name. And I think it's along the lines of, we don't need to call ourselves girl power anymore. We've got some real girl power once they got Beth in it. And yeah, so, but you know, bands change their names, it's fine, it's cool. The extra covers didn't cost me anything, and it was fun. But I think it probably had an effect on the sales of this record, because I think it just caused a lot of confusion. You know, it really, really did. And there were bits up about Guilt Police and then bits up about Girl Power. And it was really hard, I think, for people to realise that they were both the same band, really, it was a shame, because I think it affected the sale. I mean, I don't have many copies left now, to be honest, but it's been a slow, steady thing that people have gradually discovered, you know, rather than something that, you know, people went, wow, this is fantastic, and all went and bought it at once. But yeah, anyway, so it's a really great record. Great bass tone on it. You know, and actually, you know, the reason that I can describe how Betham looks playing the drums is basically because we toured with them. We toured with them, I think 2017, around the summer, August, September time. I think we've done a couple of gigs with them in the UK as well, but we were going over to do some gigs in Europe when you could still do such things relatively easily. And we went, what did we do? I think we played in London the night before, and then we went off and we did a couple in the Netherlands and a few in Germany. Where else did we go? Norway, a couple in Sweden. I can't think. A few. We did about 10 anyway, basically. It was really good. And Betham was just amazing, you know. And what a nice bunch of guys as well. I mean, seriously, you know, Pete and Ollie as well. Just really, really top guys. We just had a really nice time with them. We just totally chilled out with it till they get on stage, and then it all kicks off, and they're really, really great. Which kind of leads me in a way to there was this other release that came out on, oh god, I've now completely forgotten the name of the label, which is annoying. A label run by Dave Galloway. I can't for the life of me think what it's called. Oh yeah, I really should prep for these, shouldn't I? And he put out this split 5-inch lathe cut of theirs, okay, in various different versions. I'm such a Guilt Police nerd that I think I've got at least 3 different variants of that. Such a nerd, and I really love Guilt Police. I think they're great. I did the split anyway with Night Loner, who I confess I hadn't heard of before that. And you'll see that the song they did was Grease, and that was the one that when we were on tour, I just like, this is so good. I really, you know. And I'd already been formulating a plan to do a compilation 7-inch of really, really great UK hardcore bands at the time, which we'll come to in a second. And I was really hoping that they were going to have recorded Grease and that I could have it for this comp. But unfortunately, they'd already promised it today for this for this live cut 5-inch. Well, you know, okay, you know, they're a great band. They'd come up with something else great. So, you know, it wasn't a massive deal, but that is such a good tune. That's a real tune. That is Grease. I love it. So, anyway, when it came to doing this, I put out this, the Hardcore Document number 1 7-inch. I still haven't got around to doing number 2. Far too many other projects there to worry about that. But it came out in a few different labels. It was a co-release between Kibu, TNS, Mangle Wax, Sick World, and Amok. And they did a track called It's a Dirty Church, but we all love Filth. And it is great. I mean, all their stuff's great, you know. So anyway, that's where we got to with that. I think the Laid Cut came out in 2018. I think this also came out in 2018. I mean, I really should know when my own releases come out. Yeah, so that's really, I don't know what else to say about them other than musically it's great, the vocals are full on, it's slightly unorthodox, but it's, you know, it's not so unorthodox that you couldn't latch onto it. I just think they're one of those bands that have really slipped the net in terms of UK hardcore and never really got the kudos that they've deserved, and hopefully will continue to deserve if they get back up and get active again. So yeah, I'd go and pick those records up if I were you, to be honest. Any of those that you can get, go and get them. I'm sold out of UK Hardcore Document. Hardcore Document number 1. I've got a few copies of the 12-inch left, but very probably count them on one hand. but it's great, and I recommend you to check them out. So here's to you, Pete and Ollie and Bethan. I really hope you get your shit together and do some more stuff. Okay, oh, I've got to say this thing. Please subscribe to the channel. I think that's what you're supposed to do in these things. It would be useful, to be fair. So yeah, if you could subscribe to the Kibu channel, that would be awesome. Nice one. I'll see you next time.